Talking Scranton Boys Tennis here on the Mendola Show. The head coach, Joe McNulty, with us. Coach, good to see you again.
Thank you.
Having some success, this group?
Yes, this group has been very successful this year. 12-2 on the season, preparing for district competition, but they did a real good job. And they've been on the team. Most of the guys have been here 2 or 3 years, but they've rapidly improved.
Let's talk about the competition in the league. And you know, there's some schools doing a good job, and you happen to be one of them, but the competition, not too shabby.
Yeah, no, overall the balance was pretty good. In years past, sometimes Abington, sometimes Prep, really strong and couldn't compete, but it was more even across the board. Valley View improved a lot. There were about 5 or 6 teams in the league that really you had tough matches with, and you know, so it's a good year.
You know, we talked to the coach at GR. He was just trying to get a team out there, and it was, I think it was 13 years. He finally fielded, able to put out a boys team. Right. He's had some support from the United Tennis Association, things like that. So talk a little bit about just getting students interested in, being an athlete and saying, hey, let me give tennis a try.
Yeah, I think there have been a lot of schools that have been successful recruiting other players. I've been retired from teaching actively, so I don't see the kids as much. But fortunately, the number of kids we have is about 30. We're up there pretty high. And it's through word of mouth with the kids that we presently have, and they bring siblings, or they have, over the years, have had a good experience, so more kids came. And we are pretty fortunate. We have one of the larger squads. We have a JV squad of about 10 players. We have about 20-some players on our varsity team. So
most of the time you run into a retired teacher, they always have that passion to still be connected with young people. Talk about for you what athletics meant to you growing up, and why it's still a burning desire in your heart to be in touch with these young people.
Well, after 40 years, the burning desire is beginning to dwindle a little bit, but but anyway, it keeps you young, no question about it. I work at the Scranton Tennis Club, so I'm teaching tennis all summer. I work a little bit at Birchwood as well, but it invigorates me, keeps me active, keeps me busy. I play a lot. My assistant with me, Rich Mahon, also plays a lot of tennis, and you'll get to talk to him soon. But it's just it's a great sport that I ended up falling into at the age of 27, and it has kept me for 40 years pretty good. I mean, health-wise, I'm in pretty good shape, and I attribute that to tennis. So I would suggest everyone go pick it up. And if you wanted some lessons, come to the Scranton Tennis Club, and I can help you out.
All right. Where were you strong this year? Was it some good singles guys and some good doubles teams?
We were definitely aided by a transfer that came to us, Camus Howie, who transferred from Holy Cross, and he's our number 1 player right now. But that made our lineup that much stronger down the line because of the fact that we didn't have to push everybody up, and our 2 players very strong, Harsh Patel. Our 3-player, Mit Patel, is very good. Our first doubles are excellent, and second doubles is coming around. But we are strong definitely in the middle, and if we're going to win anything, we're going to win on those 3 positions that need to come through for us. And they know that, and they're capable of doing it. So we're looking for hoping that prospect comes through.
May is here. It's district tennis time. The weather, we don't know what's going to happen with that, but talk a little bit about the opportunities in May for this group, and just hoping to kind of extend it as long as you could.
Absolutely. It's been a goal, and it was a goal from the beginning to try to see if we could get at least into the semis, maybe possibly to the finals. We lost an early season match to Abington. Abington went undefeated, but it was a good match. So I think we're capable of them, and we improved over the season. So I think our prospects of hopefully meeting them again. But Williamsport is always the unknown. They're always good. So we're more than likely, if all things work out with our play-in match with Valley West, then hopefully we can meet Williamsport and see where we go. But I think we're capable of giving anybody a run for their money.
Joe, my pleasure to see you, and continued success the rest of this year.
Thank you so much.
Rich Mahon is with us, assistant coach with Scranton Boys Tennis. Rich, talk about how you complement Coach McNulty, what you guys try to do with this team.
Well, the majority of the players on our team are Indian immigrants, and they've rarely picked up, if at all, a tennis racket before they come here. But all of them have played cricket from their boyhood on. And so many of them have pretty good hand-eye coordination already developed from cricket, and it transfers well over to tennis. So most of the time we work on the tennis fundamentals, turning your body, right, how to serve properly, how to behave properly on the court, keep control of your emotions, and play to win.
30 guys is a pretty good roster. Talk about getting the kids interested in it.
Well, there's a lot of kids who are interested, but when you have 30 guys, it's difficult to give everybody equal, inspection and dealing with their strokes. So what you have to do is try to, work generically for part of the practice and then work individually on the other part of the practice.
For you, talk about what tennis meant to you growing up. Coach said, hey, 27 for him. How about, did you pick it up at a young age?
When I was on the schoolyard in Lincoln Heights, about 18 years old, I said to a friend of mine, hey, what are we going to do now? It's time for us to get off the schoolyard. And it just so happened that we lived near St. Anne's Monastery, and they had seminarians at that time, and they had 2 abandoned tennis courts in the monastery yard, but the nets were still up. And we said, hey, let's try this. So we bought some cheap tennis rackets. We started hitting up in the monastery grounds, played there for maybe 5 or 6 months. We went over to Weston Field, and they still had courts at Weston Field at that time. We started playing with the people over there, and then in the middle 60s, I played on the University of Scranton team, and I've been playing tennis for 50 plus years.
Now, you might have had a different tennis racket than me. I don't want to date myself, but I can remember the Voigt tennis rackets back in the 70s. They were probably like $5, and they were the wooden ones back then.
That's true, but I started with a wooden racket. Right, Jack Kramer Wilson's, or
I think Jimmy Connors had a Wilson about in the 80s.
Yeah, but that was later on. When that was the first metal racket.
Yeah.
Everybody used wood up until then, and they were a lot heavier than the modern racket, and a lot less power.
Yep. The fun that you're having, Coach, and talk a little bit about the camaraderie with Coach McNulty, and then being around young people.
Well, Joe and I have been friends for many, many years, and we played tennis as partners often up at the Scranton Tennis Club, and a lot of times we have a nice left-hander on the team, which I like to specialize in because I'm left-handed myself, and try to teach them they can spin the ball into the righty's backhand. So I usually take the left-handers if they're there.
Or convert them if you could, right?
No, I can't do that.
I wish you the best. Great to catch up with you and talk a little tennis with you, and continued success with Coach McNulty.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Pujan Patel is with us here on the John Mendola Show as we talk about the Scranton Tennis Team, a senior. Let's talk about the doubles and tennis and who your partner is and what you enjoy about playing doubles.
Doubles has always been my first option for playing tennis before school. My partner last year was Jack Joyce, who was a pretty good partner I had. We had good coordination. We moved fast on the courts and hit every ball up from the net, and it was a pretty good time. But then he graduated, and we had to move on to our senior year. And then I had a friend of mine, Sir Patel. He wanted to join tennis since a couple of years. He picked up his racket 2 years ago, I believe, and then he started playing for the school. And he's my doubles partner this year. And the strongest point he has is his serves and his volleys, which makes us win most of the games. So he's a good partner I have, and yeah, he's a good friend.
You got to have the right synergy. Talk about trying to be as positive as you can, because ultimately one of the partners is going to make a mistake, and you got to keep each other kind of going.
Yeah, as I said, he's always been my friend. If ever we lose a game, he never says that we lost the game because of you. He always tries to bring me up. He's like, don't worry, we are the best, we could do this, and he never takes faults out of anywhere. And then, yeah.
You also play cricket. Talk a little bit about that.
Cricket I used to play since I was 4, because that's like the most played sport in India. It was invented in England, but because of colonization, it became the most popular sport. And here I came in 2012, people still used to play cricket, and I still play cricket here with my teammates. And we have a team going in Philadelphia every summer. We play cricket, and cricket actually helps a lot in tennis because of the movement and eyesight we have for playing cricket.
Awesome to hear. Let's talk about your older sister and what kind of influence she's had on you.
My sister's name is Scranton Patel, and she's kind of a special child. Like, when she was born, she had a heart, and she had a hole in her heart. And whenever I just try to study, or whenever I try to play a sport, and when I'm down, I just remember her, and then always think that I have to do anything possible for my sister. So that always brings me up every single time.
You are going to go to school for accounting. It's going to be Penn State University.
Penn State
Talk about
University.
getting in. Not easy to do, but it'll be a great opportunity for you.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity going there, because a lot of people I know go there, and then they have a good accounting program going in there. and they are trying to build up a tennis team, and I would like to play tennis in Penn University too, and I hope they have a great team there, and yeah, I'll stay there.
Let's talk about your dad as your role model. What kind of influence has he had on you?
My dad has always been my role model because he tried to study engineering in his early years, and the thing was that my uncle came here as an immigrant and he became a doctor. And then my grandpa got into an accident, and then my dad had to leave his engineering courses and focus on his farming, because my grandpa used to farm in India, so to focus on those farmings, and he didn't ever make out faults on my uncle because he had to farm because of him, but he's always been positive. He did what he didn't want to do, but he did it for my uncle. So he's a great positive wife for me, and then he always encourages me as a sport person, as a dad, as my mentor.
Well, it sounds like you have some strength behind you, and people are rooting for you, and you're doing the same for your family as well, which is great. We wish you the very best at districts, and it was great to catch up with you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Mit Patel with us from Scranton here on the John Mendola Show, a senior. You play singles, so talk a little bit about when you first picked up a tennis racket.
I just picked the last year. I just started tennis. I started playing tennis last year, and last year coach put me in the third single playing. That's it.
Cricket, a sport that you played for a long time?
Yeah, in our country, we were playing cricket. Yeah.
How much did you enjoy cricket, and do you still play with some of the guys in the area?
Yeah, we also play cricket here over the Scranton. Every Sundays, every weekend.
You're involved with a bunch of clubs at school, the Pond Club and the Spark Club and the National Honor Society. So talk about what you do there.
So in Pond Club, we had to clean something up out of the school, like the gardening work and everything like that. In our National Honor Society, we had to do great things. We had to doing that.
Let's talk a little bit about your sister, who's a little bit older, and what she's up to right now.
Yeah, she's doing medical assistant over Ford Institute. She just started 3 months ago, and she's working there.
Math and science are a couple of your favorite subjects. A+ kind of guy, maybe ranked 51st in your class. That's pretty darn good at a big school. What are you hoping to do with that going forward?
I'm going to do computer science at University of Pittsburgh, and going to see in a computing coding language.
Let's talk about your relationship with your dad and why he's your role model. Why do you look up to him?
Yeah, my dad is always motivating me to playing sports and things. He always tell me to play anything, any sports, I can play. He always motivates me.
Talk about what it's like to be around the coaches. What kind of influence those guys give you?
Yeah, coach is always positive with us, and he always giving back to us. In our whole team, we are nothing without coach. Yeah.
All right, very good. We wish you the very best.
Thank you.